We've all been there, right? You're feeling warm, a little bit off, and you start wondering, do I have a fever? Now, taking your temperature seems simple enough, but are you actually using the right tool for the right method? Let's break this down and make sure we're getting it right. You know that feeling? You're warm, you feel run down. It's unmistakable. And your first thought is probably, am I running a fever? But, a feeling isn't really a diagnosis. To get a real answer, you've got to have an accurate measurement. So, how do you do it correctly? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. Okay, so before we jump into the how of taking a temperature, let's talk about the what. Our first step is to get familiar with the actual tools of the trade, the thermometers themselves. So you're generally going to see three main types of thermometers out there today. You've got the tympanic ones, which are made specifically for your ear. Then there are the electronic thermometers. Those are kind of the versatile digital standard we see pretty much everywhere. And while those old school glass mercury thermometers have been mostly phased out because of safety concerns, you might still spot one every now and then. All right, now that we know the tools, let's move on to the methods. And this is absolutely crucial because where you take your temperature is just as important as the thermometer you use. The location and the tool, they really go hand in hand. First up, we've got the ear canal. This method is super fast and really popular, especially if you've got kids. But that speed comes with a little catch. You have to use a very specific device to get an accurate reading. And that device is a tympanic thermometer. That word tympanic just refers to the eardrum. And this tool is specially designed to measure the infrared heat that's coming right off of it. So here's the key takeaway. No other kind of thermometer is going to work for this method, period. Next, we have the classic method we all think of, taking a temperature orally, right under the tongue. This is probably the most common way for adults to do it because it strikes this great balance between being easy and pretty darn reliable. Plus, you've got some options. And that's what's so interesting here, the flexibility. You don't need some super specialized gadget. A regular old electronic thermometer, one that's specifically for oral use, or even one of those older mercury thermometers will all get the job done. Okay, let's look at another really common and totally non-invasive option, the axillary method. All that means is placing the thermometer right in the armpit. Now, it's definitely the most comfortable method, but it's also generally considered the least accurate, mostly because you're measuring skin temperature, not your body's true core temperature. And since it's a pretty straightforward surface reading, the tools are straightforward too. You just hold your arms snugly against your body with either a standard electronic or a mercury thermometer tucked in there. Simple and easy. And finally, we have the rectal method. Now, while it's less common for adults to do at home, this method is often called the gold standard for accuracy, especially for infants, because it gives you the truest reading of the body's actual core temperature. For this method, you'd use an electronic thermometer. And here's a good tip. Try to find one with a flexible tip for safety and comfort. A non-mercury glass thermometer is also an option here. Whew, okay. So we've covered all the different locations and the different tools, from the fastest to the most accurate. So how in the world do you keep it all straight? Well, this next slide is going to put the complete picture together for you. And there it is. This is basically your ultimate cheat sheet. For the ear, it has to be tympanic. For the mouth, you've got a few options. Under the arm, it's electronic or mercury. And for a rectal reading, you're looking at electronic or glass. See? It's that simple when you see it all laid out like this. This might seem like really simple information, but it truly matters. Knowing how to get an accurate temperature reading isn't just some random skill. It's often the very first critical step in understanding what's really going on with your body so you can take charge of your health. So the next time you or someone in your family feels under the weather, you'll be prepared. You've got the complete map of methods and tools from the quickest to the most precise. So the only question left is, which one is going to be the right one for you?